Welcome to Howard Brown Barber and Beauty Institute. Today we are doing the review for Communicating for Success. Let's begin. Which of the following is not one of the reasons why professionals should study and have a thorough understanding of communicating for success? Good communication skills, while increasing workplace conflict, better prepares workers to deal with it. Learning how to communicate effectively can help beauty professionals improve retail sales. Effective communication fosters a positive team environment. Effectively expressing ideas is a necessary skill for career advancement. If you chose A, good communication skills while increasing workplace conflict better prepares workers to deal with it, you are correct. The practical steps for effectively communicating in the workplace include all except which of the following? Believe in yourself. Talk less, listen more. Be attentive. React instead of responding. If you chose D, react instead of responding, you are correct. When you trust your judgment, uphold your values, and stick to what you believe is right, you show that you take your temperature, believe in yourself, talk less and listen more, are attentive. If you chose B, believe in yourself, you are correct. As part of effectively communicating in the workplace, it is important to take your temperature because when you do, you trust your judgment. When you do, you stick to what you believe is right. Some clients are clear about what they want, but others may not be. If you are tired or upset, your interactions with clients may be affected. If you chose D, if you are tired or upset, your interactions with clients may be affected, you are correct. One way of demonstrating that you blank is not crossing your arms when listening to clients or team members. Use correct English. Believe listening is the best relationship builder. Are aware of your body language. Speak clearly and loudly enough for people to hear. If you chose C, are aware of your body language, you are correct. The service record card is all except which of the following? It is the client's permanent progress record of services received. It is completed by the beauty professional performing the service. It is updated with each client visit. It is intended for the client's use. If you chose D, it is intended for the client's use, you are correct. The client intake form should be started the moment a new client requests a second appointment, comes to the salon or spa for the first time, calls to make an appointment, completes their first in-person services. If you chose C, calls to make an appointment, you are correct. As a beauty and wellness professional, what is the best first step to take toward helping your client to make choices that reflect a personal sense of style. Creating a client template, consulting with your manager, speaking with the client, doing a little research. If you chose D, doing a little research, you are correct. At which of the following interactions is it best to determine the client's needs and how to achieve the desired results? Client consultation, service record, client intake, total look concept. If you chose A, client consultation, you are correct. A client consultation should be performed at every single service visit, only for the first few client visits, only during the initial client visit, only during the initial client appointment call. If you chose A, at every single service visit, you are correct. Which of the following is defined as the daily maintenance of cleanliness by practicing good, healthful habits? Be adorned with personal items that tell a lot about you. Have lots of family pictures for the client to admire. Be clean and uncluttered. Have as many samples of products on it as possible. If you chose C, be clean and uncluttered, you are correct. The first step in the 10-step consultation method is to review the intake form, discover and rate the client's preferences, perform a needs assessment, analyze the client's characteristics. If you chose A, review the intake form, you are correct. To practice reflective listening, you should listen to the client and then repeat in your own words what you think the client told you. Have an assistant listen to the client and then ask them to tell you what the client said. To try to remember what the client requested without actually having to ask them to repeat it. Pretend to listen to the client while actually beginning to concentrate on their styling. If you chose A, listen to the client and then repeat in your own words what you think the client told you, you are correct. Which of the following is most important when reflective listening? Trying to prevent the client from saying too much, not interrupting while the client is speaking, focusing on other things while the client is speaking, steering the client into choices you think are best. If you chose B, not interrupting while the client is speaking, you are correct. You should not try to upsell services ever. When working with a repeat client who values and trusts your opinions, when a client absolutely does not want to talk about adding on other services, when working with a new client whom you are not very familiar with, If you chose C, when a client absolutely does not want to talk about adding on other services, you are correct. Clients who are overly late for an appointment or habitually late for appointments cause problems because clients must show their loyalty to beauty professionals with every action they take. Beauty professionals depend on appointments and scheduling to maximize work hours. Beauty professionals must be strict and rigid in all of their business practices. Clients that cannot arrive on time do not deserve the services of a beauty professional. If you chose B, beauty professionals depend on appointments and scheduling to maximize work hours, you are correct. If a client arrives late and you have the time to take the appointment without jeopardizing other appointments, you should politely tell the client you can no longer accept his or her business. Politely advise the client of the late policy. Provide the client with services without mentioning his or her tardiness. Politely ask the client to reschedule anyhow. If you chose B, politely advise the client of the late policy, you are correct. Generally, if clients are more than blank late, they should be asked to reschedule 1 hour, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. If you chose D, 15 minutes, you are correct. What should you do when speaking with a very unhappy client about a scheduling mix-up? Stay detached. Assume the blame. Get emotional. Be very firm. If you chose A, stay detached, you are correct. The ultimate goal when you encounter a dissatisfied client is to make the client happy. Never accept any blame. Let your expertise shine. Always be upselling. If you chose A, make the client happy, you are correct. When trying to resolve an unhappy client problem, you should strongly assert your opinion, find out why the client is unhappy, politely but firmly argue your points, tell the client it cannot be fixed, even if you think it can. If you chose B, find out why the client is unhappy, you are correct. As a beauty and wellness professional, which of the following will be true of the clients you are most likely to attract? They will have similar tastes as yours. They will not necessarily be the same age as you. They will often be tardy to their appointments. They will have an opposite style of yours. If you chose B, they will not necessarily be the same age as you. You are correct. Which of the following is a way to manage client relationships? Tactfully. All answers. Sensitively. Respectfully. If you chose B, all answers, you are correct. If a client starts gossiping, try all of the following except quietly joining in on the gossiping, talking about the styling you're doing, giving a quick tip for treatment and home care, changing the subject. If you chose A, quietly joining in on the gossiping, you are correct. Which of the following is the first step in making meaningful in-spa or salon communication a reality? Treating everyone with respect, being honest and sensitive, behaving in a professional manner, remaining objective. If you chose C, behaving in a professional manner, you are correct. As beauty and wellness professionals interact and communicate with coworkers, they should not avoid gossip, remain neutral, treat everyone with respect, be willing to share their private life. If you chose D, be willing to share their private life, you are correct. Among the important guidelines for interacting and communicating with your manager are all of the following except getting your facts straight, ignoring constructive criticism, being a problem solver, being open and honest. If you chose B, ignoring constructive criticism, you are correct. It is appropriate to go to your manager with a complaint about a colleague anytime a colleague has done something to upset you, under no circumstances, anytime at all, after you have tried everything to handle the problem yourself. If you chose D, after you have tried everything to handle the problem yourself, you are correct. As the time for your employee evaluation draws near, you should perform a self-evaluation, try to delay your upcoming evaluation, try not to take the evaluation too seriously, dramatically improve your behavior. If you chose A, perform a self-evaluation, you are correct. At your employee evaluation, you should not ask when your pay scale might be increased, ask when you might be considered for promotion, ask when you can take on more services, approach your manager cautiously and shyly. If you chose D, approach your manager cautiously and shyly, you are correct. In which of the following ways can you best participate proactively in your career and in your success? By avoiding self-evaluation, by approaching the evaluation pessimistically, by not thinking too much about either, by communicating your desires and interests. If you chose D, by communicating your desires and interests, you are correct. At the end of your employee evaluation meeting, you should not thank your manager for the feedback, Thank your manager for the guidance they gave you. Thank your manager for taking the time to do the evaluation. Keep your self-evaluation to yourself. If you chose D, keep your self-evaluation to yourself, you are correct. This concludes this lesson. Make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you would like more information about our school, please join our community at howardbrownonline.com. Howard Brown, where learning never stops.